I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Lisa. And I forgot the last name clean. Ianucci, right?
Ianucci.
All right, there we go. It's because I'm seeing Rainmaker. My apologies.
That's okay.
Good night, Lisa Ianucci. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing really well. It's cold in New York, but I'm sitting at home watching television and relaxing.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I do have in my draft inbox there an email saved, which is filled with Caribbean warm sunshine. So if you do need me to send that your way, I could always send that, all right?
Send it right now.
Well, Lisa, do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time.
Well, I'm a professional freelance writer. I've written 17 books, and I have my latest comes out in February, and it's called The Film and TV Lovers Travel Guide.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, what does that book entail?
Well, I kind of combine two of my favorite things, which is film and TV and travel. And there's so many places in this world you can go and see exactly where your favorite films were made, or where a TV show was filmed, or where your favorite celebrity was born and raised. And people aren't really aware of all of those opportunities. So I created this book to bring them those opportunities.
That's wonderful. Great idea. I love it. So who did you learn the skill of writing from?
You know, I have to say that when I was a little girl, I literally knew what I wanted to be when I was super tiny. I mean, in kindergarten, I actually remember telling my teacher, I want to be a freelance writer. And she was like, what's a freelance writer? And I had read it somewhere, or somebody had told me about it or something. I was like super tiny. And I said, working for myself. And I wanted to just write books and write magazine articles and work for myself. I didn't want to work for anybody else. And so I had that love of writing from the time I was really little, and then just kind of honed it through school and just through practice, because you can be taught so many different things about writing, but if you're not actually sitting down there and doing it, you can't really find your own voice and your own way of conveying whatever message you want to convey.
That's fascinating. Well, that's a beautiful story. Wow. I'm guessing through the process, there were the hard times, right? Nevertheless, why will you continue to repeat the skill of writing?
Why were there hard times? Yeah, you know, the writing, it's a beast. I mean, you're constantly rejected. You think that you have these great ideas, and then you try to pitch them to a publisher or to an editor, and they either say, you know, it's a great idea, but we did that already, or it's a great idea, but it's not for us now, or it's not such a great idea, and we can't really use that. So you're just like an actor, you're always up for rejection. And it's those who kind of push through that and believe in what they're doing that get past the rejection and make a career out of it. And you have to think of it as a business. You know, actors, if they gave up after that first rejection, they wouldn't be an actor. They would keep going. And then that's what makes them different than those who didn't succeed, is you treat it like a business and you keep going.
What's the best place for someone to connect with you, Lisa?
The best place, you know, I'm on Facebook a lot, but, you know, I've really become more of a presence on Twitter, where you can find me at Virgin Traveler, where I put a lot of my travel posts and my TV and film articles. So I'd like to have a bigger presence on Twitter right now. So that's the best way to really connect with me.
All right. What's one other thing you've done consistently over the last 3 years?
Over the last 3 years is really just kind of focused on what I wanted to do. You know, there's being a writer that's a job that pays the bills. And sometimes you take article assignments that maybe you didn't want to do, but hey, it's a good check. And because I treat this like a business, I have to look at that. And then you have the writing you want to do, which is the film and TV and the travel stuff. And I decided a few years ago that I wanted to do more of that and less of the stuff that I didn't want to do. So I made this complete change of how I was approaching my business now that my kids were older, and it's paid off. I'm doing, I'd say 90% of the work that I do is now film and TV or travel related. So that's kind of what I've been doing consistently over the last few years.
Wow, well done. How does that make you feel?
Ecstatic, because I've been wanting to do this for a really long time. But again, sometimes you have to worry about putting food on the table and paying the mortgage. And if you're treating it like a business, you have to take on an assignment that may not thrill you, but it's something that's easy to write, and you know that you can get a nice check from it. But now it's, like I said, kids are older, and it was time to kind of focus more on what I wanted to do as my passions. Which I wish I could have done a little bit earlier, but I'm glad I'm doing them now.
Yeah, it is what it is, right? It is
Exactly.
what it is. So just
it is what you make it.
Oh yeah, it is what you make it. I love that. Definitely. Correction noted. So just to someone out there that's listening, a writer, budding writer, if you would, why they should do what you've done by really setting the goals and doing what's necessary to meet them.
It's the best advice I could give them would be, like I said, not to give up, because it is a hard industry, and it's harder now than when I started out a long time ago, because there are more people that want to do it. And just because people want to do it doesn't mean they can do it. So if you hone your craft, if you make sure that every day, even if you're working a job that you don't like and you have dreams of being a writer, then at the end of the day, come home and write. And learn about the business, and learn about submitting article ideas, and learn about what the industry is all about. If you do that every day and really focus on it, just like you would your 9-to-5 job, little by little, it's going to start paying off, because that's where your passion is. And if you're dedicating that time to it, you'll start to see the results eventually.
I love it. Amazing audience. Again, we're live with Lisa Ianucci. Lisa, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Lisa, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Oh, wow. My earliest childhood memory. I'd have to say, as much as it's all probably going to tie into everything, it's really being introduced to what was on television and watching the old shows like Lucy, and she kind of motivated me. Lucille Ball motivated me a lot in the direction I wanted to go with my career. So being introduced to that when I was young made an impact on me, and definitely set the stage for what I wanted to do.
How old were you in this earliest childhood memory?
Oh, you want me to give away my age? No. I'm 52 now, so you're talking back in like the late 60s, early 70s. But I was watching Lucy in reruns, because by that point she was in reruns. But it was still like between that show and the old time Abbott and Costello stuff and all the kind of old time shows, it really kind of focused me as to who I was and what I wanted to do. So.
Well, that's intriguing. Well, the question I asked is, how old were you in the memory? You actually gave us your age.
In the memory, probably like around between like 7 and 10 that I really was able to watch that on like a regular basis and watch the old movies on a regular basis.
All right. Well, I love how you connected the dots. I'm intrigued to ask, is there an earlier memory that pops out in your mind, though?
Is there a what memory?
An earlier memory.
Ooh, I the first thing that popped into my head was just being in nursery school. I mean, that's kind of the earliest I think I can go back to.
Right.
Wasn't exactly my favorite memory, but just being in nursery school and kind of learning the whole ABC thing. I think I remember being out on the playground and playing they had these little pools, and it was like hot, and you jump in the pool with the other kids, and that's probably the earliest one I can remember, and that has to be about 4 or 5 years old.
Wow. So why do you think that memory is so clear?
Probably because it wasn't my favorite.
What about it wasn't your favorite?
I wasn't a big fan of like, nowadays with all this kind of bullying topics going on, I was a bigger girl. I wasn't this petite little kid. I was a tomboy and I was a bigger, thicker girl. And I didn't quite fit in at that particular nursery school with some of the other kids. So it wasn't my favorite place to be. I mean,
Okay.
I went there because of, my mom worked. She was a single mom and she had to work during the day. So I needed a place to go. I didn't get bullied, but I didn't really feel like I fit in. And I think it was because I was a thicker kid and more of a tomboy.
How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Definitely still grew up a tomboy. And I had 3 older brothers, who got me into sports, and I still to this day love sports, love football. And I'm a huge Green Bay Packers fan. So, it definitely, I don't think I really changed much from when I was younger. I think I kind of carried a lot of who I was throughout my whole life. I just kind of improved upon it over the years.
Yeah, most definitely. I love that. Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Okay.
I love the idea that you, my friend, are different, unique, if you would, and you stand out and you stand out proudly. And I think that's really important as a writer, to be that person that stands out and is proud to stand out, if you would. I just wanted to put that in there.
Hey, I agree with you 100%. I've always taught my kids that the motto of our family is why be normal. And I've always told them that their differences are what make them unique. And each one of them are beautifully creative and talented. And they definitely kind of took that advice and made it their own. And I love being called quirky and different and somebody that stands out. I love that.
Love it. If we fast forwarded to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Ooh, 12 years old, my favorite song. It's so funny. I've had these conversations lately and I'm not great at remembering music back then. I can tell you I used to listen to things like Barry Manilow and the Partridge Family. I was really, don't laugh at me, I'm a Fanilow, but it's back then, yeah, it was there 12, maybe even Billy Joel back then too. Specific songs, it's hard for me to, because I relate more to the TV film stuff, so I could always tell you my favorite TV shows, but songs are a little harder for me. But those were some of my favorite artists.
All right, it's okay, no problem. We got that. Well, my friend, we've arrived at our destination now. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Lisa?
Sure.
Lisa, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes, my daughter, Nicole, is an amazing fiction writer. And even though I don't really dabble in fiction, she kind of found her voice. And she is definitely someone I'm going to watch out for in the next few years to publish a book in science fiction that will really do very well. She's much more talented than I am.
Are you married?
I am in a relationship, yes.
All right. So you spoke of your daughter. Do you have other children?
Yes, I have 2 other children. Nicole is my oldest. Travis is my son, and he's in the middle. And my daughter Samantha is my youngest, and they're 25, 23, and 20.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes, a wonderful circle of friends.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Yeah.
All right. And what about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Because I'm constantly on the computer for work, I'd have to say more.
If you, Lisa, had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Lisa Ianucci, what would you say that is?
I am dedicated to what I do, passionate about it as well, and just really try to be a good person to the people around me.
Love it. Lisa Ianucci, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, I just hope that they kind of take my advice and also look at the book that I have coming out in February and get out there and see sites based on their own favorite film and TV shows. That'd be awesome.
Love it. Lisa Ianucci, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.